Is 7 Days to Die console edition worth playing in 2025? I'm here to answer that question today. Now, you guys, if you've been with the channel for a little while, you'll know I made a video about 7 Days a while ago, quite a while ago, over a year ago, I think. Now, that was the old console edition, so for anyone that doesn't know, context-wise, 7 Days is far more progressed and supported on PC than it is console. The console edition was basically abandoned like 7 or 8 years ago. It was still available for purchase. It was garbage. It was terrible. It was broken, janky, looked like trash, had bugs, glitches, the lot. Was listed as like a game preview, but yet still had achievements. And I've 100%ed that version. It was a nightmare. Now, recently, in the last like year and a bit, they finally re-released it as a proper console edition. Now, it's still not as advanced and progressed as PC is, but they have to go back in basically and redo the entire thing because, from what I understand, the basically the code and stuff was an absolute like, just imagine like a mess of wires basically, just absolutely jumbled. Nothing made sense. They had to just redo it basically. So they've re-released it now as a console edition. It's been kind of fixed. It works like a game now. Now, the game isn't perfect by any means. In no way, shape, or form is it like one of my favourite games of all time. But I thought it'd be a nice little idea to maybe revisit it because I'm playing it again at the moment, obviously, because this is the new version now that I've started a couple of months ago. I've recently gone back to it with Alex, and we're currently grinding some of the achievements on there, so I thought now would be a cool time to kind of revisit it in the background, because I have no gameplay of 7 Days. I just haven't had time to capture any, unfortunately. You will see on screen one of the previous dev streams. This is from about 8 months ago for 1.0, just so there is something going on. Obviously I can't just talk with a black screen for 20 minutes. So I thought, it might be cool just to have the devs in the background, like, showing off things of what they were looking at and things of that nature. But essentially, the purpose of today's video is basically to see if the game itself on console was actually worth picking up at all, or if you should still kind of hold off in regards to like actually buying it, or if there are just better alternatives. Now, I could easily answer all of those questions and just not give you any kind of context, but I won't do that because otherwise what would be the point of this channel or this video? So is the game itself worth actually picking up now in 2025? Is it actually worth sitting down and going, do you know what, I want to get 7 Days console? For context, in this scenario, we're just saying you don't have access to a PC, so this is from my perspective as a console-only player, okay? So for anyone that's wondering, this is from the point of view that you just do not have access to a PC, whether that be because you don't have the money, you don't have the room for one, both, more reasons, whatever. You don't have a PC, your only option is console, okay? So is it worth actually buying 7 Days to Die console edition now in 2025? I would say if you're a person who can have a little bit of patience. So when I say a little bit of patience, I mean for like little bugs, little texture glitches, maybe like the game lags a little bit every couple of minutes sometimes if something major happens or someone joins. If you can be patient with the little things like that, then I would say yes. If you're not, and even the slightest little bug, the slightest little texture glitch, or the slightest bit of lag like aggravates you and it annoys you and you can't stand like jitteriness and you like a smooth experience 24/7 on your games, I would say wait. So the reason I say that is because obviously everyone's different. Some people have a higher tolerance for like little kind of quirks, as I call them, for games like this. Some people have no tolerance for them. I have a little bit of tolerance for them. So 7 Days, at the stage it's in currently, as of right now, this is like as of playing it like yesterday, as of recording this video. And the game itself, from the old console version we used to have that was abandoned, runs a million times better. For a start, the game actually runs properly. Now, granted, it does have lag spikes every 5 to 10 minutes, especially when a player joins. So when I join Alex, because it's her world, her game like has an absolute heart attack for like 30 seconds because it's trying to generate and load my character in. So it does have a bit of a meltdown, and there are some texture glitches here and there, and things like that. However, minor things, we've had no game-breaking crashes as of yet. We've had no massive errors or anything. Everything has worked fine. There's been no kind of game-breaking bugs, which is good, because the old version definitely had those. The game looks a lot better, so the graphics have been way overhauled to the old console edition. Don't get me wrong, there are still better looking games out there, but considering where we were in how 7 Days used to be on the old version for console, it's leaps and bounds beyond what we used to have in terms of visuals. Again, there are far better looking games out there still, but I'm just on about from a standpoint of how this game used to look for console players. Control-wise, a lot of a much smoother experience, a lot more of a fun experience. The world is a lot more kind of developed and kind of different than it used to be. So for those of you that don't know, the kind of starter world, like the tutorial, it's not really a tutorial world, but the kind of base world, if you don't go for a randomly generated map, it's called Navsgain or something, or Navesgain. I don't really know how you pronounce it. In the old version, the map was actually quite small. Like the world seems quite big, but it's not really, because basically the edges of the world were radiations. You just died, basically. If you touched them, you just died pretty much instantly, and it was really annoying. This one feels a lot bigger. It feels like buildings are more kind of thought out. They feel a little bit more filled out with more things. So it's not just house, settee, TV, fridge, cupboard. It actually feels like they've put a little bit more effort and time into actually building environments that are interesting to explore, scavenge, survive in, basically. And the buildings in general and things like that, like I said, look a lot better, and the game controls a lot more smoothly. A lot of the survival aspect is much the same, so crafting remains pretty much exactly the same. Your hot bar remains the same. Your food and water is the same, and things of that nature. One thing they did change is how it used to work in the old version, the old console version. If you wanted to level up certain things, so let's say, for example, I don't know, axes or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the options were, but basically you'd have to do the thing you want to level up. That's different now, where you just level up naturally by just playing the game. So harvesting resources, crafting things, building things, upgrading parts of your base. There's a plethora of things you can do to get XP, killing zombies obviously being one of them as well, hunting animals, etc. You get the gist. You just gain XP naturally now, and then you get to apply that to the skills that you want. So how it works is there are different basics kind of stats, so like fortitude, intelligence, perception. Those go from 1 to 10. So those are your kind of standard kind of base stats that improve like little bits of gameplay, but aren't anything major. But you need to level those up for the better skills for late game. So for example, if you want, let's say, a really good skill that comes under fortitude, you can't just like get 2 points and then go on buying that. No, you have to get fortitude, let's say, to example, level 8. Now, that's a lot more expensive than it sounds, because the first 5 levels all cost 1 skill point, then the next couple cost 2, and the final 2, I believe, cost 3. So you've got to level up the actual base attribute before you purchase the really good skills. So it's I think it's a much better system. It encourages players to actually think about what they're spending skill points on. They can't just go blitzing through everything by just mining for ages and then, grinding through a bunch of stuff in one go, basically. So it makes you want to think about your options, because you can't just blast through everything. There are 300 levels, or at least I assume there are, because there's an achievement for hitting level 300. So you've got plenty of you can, I don't know 100%, but I believe you can get everything eventually if you're patient enough, which I'll have to be, because I'm going for all the achievements. But you can't just blitz through it all in one go, which I think is a better system, personally. Being able to pick and choose, I think, is a lot better, personally, and being able to actually save your skill points, maybe. So if you're not sure 100%, that's fine. Just save them, and when you're like, you know what, yeah, I'm going to level up some of this, or if maybe you want to spread them out evenly as you go, so you can do that as well. I think it's a really good system, personally. Like I said, crafting is much the same. All of that jazz is kind of basically the same as it was in the previous game. You gather your resources, you can pick how many of an item you want to craft it. It has a real life timer. So for example, some things, if you're crafting like a bunch of stuff, so I've been crafting a bunch of wooden blocks, for example, for base building. 500 takes like a good 5 to 10 minutes. So while you're doing that, you do something else in the meantime while those are crafting. So it's kind of like Ark in a way, because I believe Ark does that as well from my memory. So very similar there. So a lot of that remains the same. Actual combat, I think, in this version is better. Haven't had a lot of experience with it, because we've been base building and playing it safe for the time being. But I've got a spear, which has been really fun to use. I've got a combat knife. I've got like a lever action rifle that's really fun to use. I've used shotguns in the game, so the guns feel a lot better as well than the old version. The old version, they felt really, really jank, like really, really janky. In this version, they're still not perfect. They're still not where I'd want them to be. I feel like they could definitely be a lot smoother, but they are, again, leaps and bounds from where they used to be on the console version, so I'm not going to complain. There's a lot more kind of modding for weapons and things like that. So, like, for example, my spear is flaming. I've got a shovel that's flaming because I just thought it was really funny. So I've got a flaming shovel, which I think is brilliant. Things like that. So there's a lot more kind of customization you can do in terms of weapons, which, again, good. The more the merrier. In this console version, we actually have access to more zombie types as well. In the abandoned version, for the most part, me and Alex have 100%ed it both as well. We never really encountered anything other than regular zombies and the kind of screamers and the kind of spider ones that kind of crawl around and stuff, and the dogs. That's about all we ever encountered. In this version, we've actually seen lumberjacks once or twice, the police officers that explode. We've seen more variation in zombies, which is, again, good, because in the abandoned version, I don't even know if they're in the game. If they are, we never saw them. So it's nice, it's pretty cool that obviously we've got more zombies, which is obviously what you should have in a zombie survival game. Now, in comparison to how this stacks up against other like kind of crafting survival games, i.e. Minecraft, Ark Survival Evolved, Ark Ascension, Grounded, etc., I still wouldn't rank 7 Days super high. Minecraft kind of has the kind of crown because it's so kind of available to anyone of any age, because it's quite like friendly to all ages realistically. For those looking for the more serious kind of thing, maybe those that people like Rust. I've never played it myself personally, but I know that's meant to be good. Things like Rust and Ark, I would still put them above 7 Days just because they're more polished. I know Ark has a history of kind of being a little bit jank on occasion, but from when I've played the old Ark, so Survival Evolved, I haven't played Ascension, but Survival Evolved was better, I would say, than where this version of 7 Days is currently. But obviously, because this one is still being supported and developed, who knows, it may overtake it. And then for things like Grounded, I feel like gets a pass to be better than 7 Days, just because the actual the niche of how that survival game is, the idea of the whole shrinking the kids in the backyard kind of thing. There's not another survival game out there that's like that one, so that one just gets a pass on being better just because of the unique concept. But Grounded has its own kind of ups and downs as well, but I would still put it above 7 Days. So in comparison to other survival games, do I rank it as the best choice? No, I don't. That isn't necessarily me saying that you shouldn't play 7 Days Console Edition now. It's just saying in regards to other kind of survival crafting games, if you've got another one you want to try first and you don't know which one to pick, I would say pick the other one first if you want a smoother, kind of more polished experience. If not, and you just don't really care, or maybe you really want to do one with zombies in it, then yeah, I would say give 7 Days Console Edition a go in 2025. I don't really have any major issues with this game anymore. The achievements aren't terrible either. They updated some of them, so it used to be there was one for killing 2,500 enemy players, which sucked. That's been reduced all the way down to 25, which I think is much better, because it just took ages last time for me and Alex to grind that together. You've got travel 1,000 kilometers, which does take a long time, but you will eventually get it. I believe there's one for killing 5,000 zombies, which again, you will eventually get that just by playing the game naturally. Like I said, hitting level 300, that one's going to be a bit of a grind because I'm only at like level 60 and I've got like 2 days in this game already. Alex is only like level 80 and she's got like 3 days, nearly 4, so that does take a little bit longer, but again, you will just get that naturally by playing the game, because you get it from doing pretty much anything survival based, crafting, getting resources, etc., like I said earlier. So overall, the achievements really aren't that bad, and because this is a more polished version of 7 Days compared to the abandoned version we used to have, it's going to be a lot more fun to go for these achievements rather than playing a really janky, broken mess of a game just to get 100% so you can then uninstall it immediately, which is what I did end up doing with the old version. With this version, I may very well stick with it a little bit longer after I've finished with it. Can't say that for sure just yet, because obviously I haven't really I'm not really near finishing it yet anyway, so I probably will get my hours worth out of it anyway. But if in the future they support it and they do add new achievements, then I will 100% be coming back to it when I've eventually 100%ed it. But to kind of round it off, I would say if, is 7 Days to Die console edition worth playing in 2025? Yes, I think it is. Like I said, compared to other survival crafting games, if you split between this and another one, I would say pick the other one first. If not, and you don't really care, or you are looking for one with zombies, then I would say by all means absolutely give this one a go. It's a lot better than when it used to be with the old Abandoned port that we used to have. Far smoother, far more polished, far more fun, and just a much better experience all around. So yeah, I would say give it a go, guys, if you're thinking about it. But that's it from me for this one. Sorry there was no stream yesterday. It's simply because I was at Alex's house ready for a tattoo appointment that I'm actually having today. So as of this video, I'm probably finishing up in my appointment in like the next hour. So that's why there was no stream on Thursday, but it'll be as normal next week, so don't worry about that. If you can, leave a like, subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff that helps me out. We're slowly growing a little bit bigger on the channel, so that's really nice to see. And again, thank you all so much for the support on my videos. I really do genuinely appreciate every single person that sits down and actually decides to watch me instead of other YouTubers. I find that insane, so thank you all so much. Drop a comment on the video, let me know what you think of 7 Days console. Let me know what the PC version's like as well, because I know you guys have like way more stuff than we do, just because it's far more supported than ours. So I'd be really interested to see what the kind of differences are between yours and ours. That'd be really cool. But other than that, guys, much love from me as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye for now.